to add to the list of things the pain the elites inflict on us that they themselves aren't actually suffering as a result of. Today we received the revelation that RBA Governor Michelle Bullock has paid off her fourth house in Sydney, the most expensive of the four that she owns, in under 10 years, just 9 years. Wouldn't we all love to do that? Well, it turns out Michelle was able to do that due to a wonderful, wonderful half-price mortgage deal for RBA employees. How do you like that? The people who sit around deciding how hard to squeeze you being the mortgage holders in Australia, they're all getting this sweet deal. Who wouldn't want a half-price mortgage deal? Who wouldn't be able to pay their house off in half the time if they had a half-price mortgage deal? So is it any wonder on the day that this news broke, they decided not to put interest rates up just before Christmas? Merry Christmas, everyone. How bad would it have been if they then put it up on top of this
I actually
revelation?
don't begrudge her getting the perks working with the Reserve Bank.
People say crime doesn't pay. This proves it does.
Lots of people get perks because they work for certain places. The problem with this is she went to a conference of bankers in Hong Kong and talked about the fact that, yes, we've seen 13 consecutive interest rate rises, but Aussies are doing fine. And that proves how out of touch she is, where she's completely quarantined from the pressures that ordinary Australians feel because she's got this sweet deal from the RBA where her interest rates
so
were
you've
half
just completely contradicted yourself, because you said, we're okay for her getting this perk.
Yeah, I'm okay
Frankly,
with that.
That's far too big a perk. If you have got a role in deciding the rates that people are paying on their mortgages, you shouldn't get to have any kind of cool mortgage deal yourself. You are setting the rate, basically, but not suffering as a result of it. So how can you say in one breath that, more than happy for her to get a sweet deal for absolutely no reason? God knows they're paid enough there. That's enough of a sweet deal. But she's so out of touch. The two things are inseparable. That's why she's so out of touch.
I'm not sure they are. Are you arguing that she's got a conflict of interest because on the one hand she's got a mortgage and on the other hand she's setting rates?
No, she doesn't even have a conflict of interest because the rate that she's setting for people, she's not paying.
The point is that she's speaking for Australians in a situation she's never had to face.
Yeah,
exactly.
Of course, because this system doesn't exist anymore. If you work at the RBA, you don't get this perk anymore. This is a mortgage she took out in 1991 for $285,000. That property in Five Dock in Sydney is now worth in the vicinity of $3 million now, by the way.
No crime in that.
No, there's no crime in that. But she took out that cut price mortgage when she was an RBA employee in 1991. She has remained at the RBA that whole time and is now the governor. She's always lived in the RBA system, and the RBA always picks people from within its own system, which means you just get the same schools of thought over and over and over again, and that's why nothing changes. It was the same with Philip Lowe. He got the same deal. He bought a house in the eastern suburbs of Sydney, half price on his mortgage. I mean, when she got this mortgage, the average interest rate was about 14%.
She was paying half that.
So she got 7%, which is a significant cut, particularly back in the early 90s when we're talking about, the Paul Keating era where we're going to have the recession we have to have, et cetera, right? So you keep getting these same people who all think the same way, and that's why nothing changes in terms of monetary policy.
But that deal is gone, right? So the problem here is not that she got a sweet deal in the sweet by and by. The problem is the other day she said, no, this is not a concern for Australians, purporting to speak on behalf of people whose pain she's never felt.
Of course, but one of the reasons she's never felt that pain is because she got that perk of the job, right? So you create a system where people don't have to feel the pain, and sure, they've fixed that up a little bit. They don't get a cut price mortgage anymore, but they live in a system where they don't have to feel the pain, but are then entrusted to inflict the pain.
Yeah, so they can't even have the empathy when they are inflicting it, because the truth be told, they've never been in your shoes.
Correct.
This reminds me of a little while ago when it was mandated for all and sundry who wanted to be able to put a roof over their heads and square meals on the table for for themselves and their family, you had to get the jab. It was mandated across industries. Tom, Dick, Harry had to get it, but not a single state or federal politician. Did you know that? They never had to get it. Now, they may have taken photos and posed on their Instagram and whatnot, being like, oh, I'm getting my 50 billionth jab today, but they didn't have to. In order to keep their jobs. No, because I know the members that you're referring to. They weren't allowed into the chamber. Yeah. They had to attend Parliament via Zoom type thing. But their jobs weren't in jeopardy. No. Nobody's job was in jeopardy. You name anybody else in basically any other sector, even if you worked from home, your job was on the chopping block if you didn't get jabbed. The people who inflict the pain do not experience it.
Well, I mean, the other example we had recently was...
They just make them.
The Prime Minister was asked, what do you think about the price of petrol? And he didn't know the price of petrol. And the reason he doesn't know the price is because it's probably been a few years since he put the nozzle in the fuel tank in his car, because he gets driven everywhere. So we have this right through our society where people live quarantined from the pressures ordinary people face. And the problem is when they purport to speak on behalf of them and act like, no, it's all good, it's all fine, because they're not feeling it.
It's not that hard to look out your own window and just...
You would have thought so.
All those people, if you're Michelle Bullock, at night you look out the window and go, all these people out here whose lives I can thoroughly affect tomorrow. I wonder what it's like to be one of them. Maybe I'm going to have dinner with one of these people, just sort of find out how they're living. It's not hard to do. In fact, it's a major part of the job. If you're an MP, a major part of your job is to go out and talk to your constituents. You're meant to, anyway, to try and understand how your constituents think. And it should be exactly the same in any job of public service like this.